Have you ever felt that since your children were born, your relationship has taken a back seat, like you're great parents, but almost weird as a couple? Sometimes it seems like love was being pushed into routine breaks, between diapers, homework, and sleepless nights, right? I remember a couple, let's call them Anna and Raphael, who used to laugh about everything together, make plans, go out every week, until their children arrived. Suddenly, their time became the children's time. Conversations were limited to grocery lists, bills, and the next pediatrician. One day, during dinner, in the rare silence of the house, they looked at each other and realized that they no longer knew what to say to each other. And look, this isn't a lack of love. It's just life that unintentionally runs over the connection. This video is a safe, non-judgmental space for us to talk about this. For couples who love each other, but who have been feeling a little distant, find each other again, even amid the chaos of parenthood. Here, we will talk about how to rescue the two of us without ceasing to be incredible parents. And if you've ever felt like your relationship changed after the arrival of children, just comment one "me too" down here. I really want to know, is it just us who feel this, or are there other people going through this challenging phase? Let's talk, recognize each other, and build together, because you're not alone in this. And that's when automatic mode comes into action, almost without us noticing. Wake up, change diapers, make breakfast, take you to school, work, pick up from school, give you a bath, make food, clean up the mess, try to put you to sleep. And in the midst of all this, where does the couple fit in? The both of us. It's for later, for whenever possible, for some weekend that never comes. Caring for children becomes sacred, and that's right. It's love, it's responsibility. But the relationship, which used to be a priority, begins to be treated as a disposable item on the agenda. And the truth is that relationships also need daily care. It's not just about being together in the same house, it's about truly being together. Many couples wake up and sleep under the same roof. They share bills, chores, children, but they no longer share dreams. They don't exchange glances. They don't really listen to each other. You know that long kiss, that conversation looking into the eyes without a cell phone in your hand, that inside joke that made them both laugh amidst the chaos. When did all this disappear? It is very easy to fall into the trap of becoming partners in the house. When the couple begins to function as an efficient logistics team, but without emotional connection, without affection, without time to nurture the bond, it seems like everything is in place. The bills are paid, the children are well taken care of, the routine is working. But inside, there is a void growing between two people who were once best friends, lovers, accomplices. And it's not a bad thing. It's just that no one taught us how to balance the role of parents with the role of partners. It's as if love has to wait, as if there were an ideal time to take care of it. And it never arrives. We keep pushing, postponing, thinking that eventually it will get better. But the truth is, if it's not intentional, it doesn't happen. And little by little, that loving couple turns into two tired adults who live together and treat each other cordially, like co-workers, or worse, like strangers occupying the same space. And that's the risk, becoming invisible to each other inside your own home, becoming an extra in the life of someone who, one day, was the protagonist of your heart. I know that touching this point hurts, because no one enters a relationship thinking about getting lost along the way. But you have to look with courage. Relationships are a daily construction, and if we don't nurture them, they dry up. And I'm not talking about grand gestures or romantic trips every month. I'm talking about simple but intentional things. A note on the refrigerator, a long touch on the arm while the other person washes the dishes, a 5-minute pause to ask, "How was your day?" And really listen. You know, love doesn't end suddenly. It disappears little by little in silences, in postponements, in changed priorities. Therefore, I invite you to reflect with us now. When was the last time you had a moment just as a couple? Dinner, cinema, anything. Comment here. I want to see if this is happening there too. Because sometimes Just realizing that this is missing, we start to change. And this video is for that. To remind you that behind the roles of mother and father, there are still two people who chose to walk together, and that choice is still worth it. And even when the couple tries to rescue a moment together, a silent but powerful visitor appears. Guilt, an invisible weight that rests mainly on mothers' shoulders, but which also affects fathers, especially those who are really present in the routine. It's as if, by choosing a romantic dinner, a quick walk, or even 2 hours of cinema, they are committing a crime against their own role as a father or mother. I've heard stories that seem far-fetched but are real, like a mother who cried in the car after leaving her baby with her grandmother to go out with her husband, or the father who was checking his cell phone the entire time at the restaurant, torn between the menu and the anguish of not being there at home, helping with the nighttime routine. And this happens because, in a subtle way, we have been conditioned to believe that good parents cancel each other out, that if there is time left for the couple, it is a sign of selfishness. And this belief, even if not said out loud, undermines any attempt at reconnection. What many people still don't understand, or understand but don't feel like they can live with, is that taking care of a couple is taking care of the family, because a home with two emotionally disconnected, exhausted and guilty adults becomes a minefield of silence, impatience and discomfort. Children notice. They absorb everything, even if no one says anything. And more than parents physically present, they need parents emotionally connected to each other and to them. A couple who cares for each other, who chooses each other, who finds time for each other, teaches by example that love is not just service, it is also affection, presence and daily choice. It's that kind of lesson that doesn't come with words, but with looks, hugs in the hallway, small everyday kindnesses. This builds a home with affection, with emotional solidity, where children grow up knowing that healthy love is made of balance. And balance is not the absence of guilt. It is learning to live with it without letting it decide everything. So breathe a little now. Remember the beginning of the relationship. Remember what it was like. In the beginning, not with nostalgia, but with purpose. The couple you were is still there, only covered up by the dust of routine, the accumulated tasks, and this heavy feeling that, by prioritizing yourself, you are leaving someone behind. But the truth is, when you choose each other, you are creating a stronger home. When you look at each other with love and intention, children learn the importance of caring for themselves and caring for others. And that's a gift that no extracurricular activity, no new toys, and no impeccable schedule can replace. The relationship is the foundation, and when this foundation is firm, everything else has a better chance of flourishing. It's time to allow that breath, to free yourself a little from that paralyzing guilt, and remember that love is not divided, it multiplies. Taking care of the couple is indeed an act of love for the entire family. And then, when we least notice it, even the way we communicate changes. What used to be a pleasant conversation, laughter in the middle of the day, exchanging complicit glances, becomes an eternal checklist. Did you get your uniform? Did you buy the milk? There's a meeting at school tomorrow, remember? And on the other side comes a, yes, I've already resolved it. The routine swallows up the dialogue, and the couple begins to treat each other as if they were on a work call with deadlines, deliveries, a shared agenda, and zero margin for a, so how are you really? Intimacy is left aside because in the middle of the rush, asking how the other person feels seems like a luxury. But that's precisely where the bond begins to be lost, when affection hides behind logistics. And it's not because the love is over, it's because the intention has disappeared. Speaking with affection requires presence, and presence requires pause. A rare thing in the midst of the whirlwind of adult life with children, bills, and responsibilities. And when communication becomes just a survival tool, the couple begins to see each other as operational colleagues. It's not that one stopped loving the other, It's that they both started communicating in a practical, functional, automatic way. And this mode works until it doesn't anymore. Because no matter how orderly the house is, something inside us starts to scream. That longing to talk for the sake of talking, to talk nonsense, to hear the other person's voice without rushing, without pressure. We even miss the fights that end in hugs because now all that's left is exhaustion, and then the frustration grows. But no one says anything. Everything feels a little stuffy, as if we were walking on eggshells inside a home that should be the safest place in the world. But look, communication is construction. She needs to be fed, not with big speeches or cinematic statements, but with simple gestures, with a "I miss you" in the middle of the day, with a "tell me how it was there," without looking at your cell phone. Little things that, when added together, do a lot of good. So I want to ask you, lightly but sincerely, who out there feels like they became a domestic operations manager and forgot what it was like to be a boyfriend or girlfriend? Tell me in the comments. Because look, this happens to a lot of people, more than you might think. And just by giving a name to this feeling, it starts to lose its strength. The truth is that no one enters a relationship dreaming of becoming a logistics partner. We come in wanting to share life, laugh together, be a comfort to each other. And this is still possible, but it takes intention to get out of autopilot, to remember that before the children, the house, the bills, there were two people who chose each other. And that choice still matters. It still makes sense. It can still and should be cultivated. Because communicating with love is a way of caring. And every relationship needs care to stay alive. But what if I told you that reconnection doesn't have to be grand? That rekindling the couple's flame doesn't require expensive trips or entire weekends away from the children. Sometimes all you need is 15 minutes. Yes, 15 minutes a day. No cell phone, no screens, no kids. Just the two of you. Sitting on the balcony, lying on the sofa, drinking a coffee, or just holding hands in silence. It seems little, right? But during this time, you can listen to the other person, ask how they are, share a long kiss, remember who you are beyond your roles. These small reconnection rituals are like watering a forgotten plant in the corner of the room. All it takes is a little water every day for it to bloom again. The secret is in constancy, in intention, in the affectionate repetition of simple gestures, because deep down, that's what love lives on, the details. And detail is something that only those who are present can see. And look how cool it is. You can also create a couple's secret code. You know that emoji that only you understand? That stupid phrase that reminds you of a fun memory? A touch on the shoulder that means, "I'm here with you"? These codes strengthen intimacy and create a unique language between you. They're like little reminders that, even when the world is busy, you're still a team, a couple who communicates with their eyes in the middle of a parents' meeting, who exchanges silly messages during the day, who knows how to laugh together even in the most challenging phases. And this doesn't happen by chance. It happens when the couple decides they're going to make it work. That will protect the relationship from indifference, exhaustion, and emotional distance. Creating these small rituals is like placing anchors in the midst of chaos, breathing points where love can rest and grow stronger. Because when you stay emotionally connected, everything in the house changes. The climate improves, the partnership flows, the children feel it. Now, I want to propose a challenge to you. Simple, but and powerful. Today, even today, take 15 minutes just for the two of you. No cell phone, no TV, not to mention bills, kids, or work. Just you. It can be to talk, laugh, remember old stories, or just be together. And if you want to go further, create a secret code. A word, a gesture, an inside joke. Something just yours. Small attitudes, but with big impact. And then I ask you, up for the challenge? If yes, comment below, "Challenge accepted," and then come back to me to tell me what has changed. Because when we commit publicly, the chances of making it happen increase. And maybe, just maybe, this will be the first step of many to bring back the couple that you always were, and that you can still be. Let's go together in this. Taking care of the relationship is, yes, an act of courage. Courage to stop everything and say, we are not okay. Courage to look at someone else and admit, I miss you. Courage to prioritize what really matters and understand that this is not selfishness. It is love in an adult state. It's the kind of love that knows that physical presence is not enough, who understands that keeping the relationship alive requires effort, requires intentional choices, requires maturity. It's not comfortable, it's not simple, but it is transformative. And more than that, it is an act of emotional responsibility. Because when the couple takes care of each other, when the bond is preserved, the entire family structure gains stability, the base becomes stronger, and, even amid the chaos of routine, home becomes a shelter, and not just a scenario of obligations. It takes courage to break the autopilot cycle, to face guilt, to step out of the role of house partner and become a life partner again. I remember a couple that really impacted me. They had been together for almost 10 years, with 2 young children, a busy routine, bad nights, and that uncomfortable silence at dinner. The connection that was once vibrant had become a shadow. They felt like colleagues, sharing tasks, but they avoided talking about it because talking hurt, until one day, during a common fight, he said, I feel like you don't even see me anymore. And she, with her eyes full of tears, replied, because I don't see myself either. That was a shock, but it was also a turning point. They decided to seek help. They created small reconnection routines. They went out alone again from time to time. They rescued memories. They laughed again. They rediscovered the touch, the look, the lightness. It wasn't easy, but it was possible. And today, when their children see them exchanging affection in the kitchen or sitting in the living room talking like friends, it's as if they learned, in practice, what real love is. Because children don't learn about love just by hearing, I love you. They learn by watching how love happens between the adults who raise them. That's why taking care of the relationship is also taking care of the children, showing that love requires maintenance, care, respect, and presence is one of the greatest legacies you can leave. Teaching that love doesn't die because life gets tough, but because it was left aside. That passion can transform, but the bond only grows when it is watered. It's this kind of love that builds healthy homes, even on difficult days. Love that faces, that chooses, that returns, that insists. And if you've made it this far in this video, it's because deep down you know the love between you still exists. Maybe hidden behind the routine, the guilt, the urgencies, but he's there, waiting for a gesture, a word, a reunion. And perhaps today is the day to take that step, not out of nostalgia for what was, but out of commitment to what can still be. Because to love, after all, is to decide to stay, with more maturity, more intention, and more truth. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's that being good parents starts with being a strong couple. Because there's no point in raising your children with all the love in the world if you're both feeling empty around each other. Every child deserves to grow up in an environment where love is visible, where respect is mutual, where parents are not just good providers or educators, but true partners. We talked about automatic mode, about how routine swallows the connection. We immersed ourselves in the weight of guilt, which often prevents couples from prioritizing themselves. We talk about communication that becomes a to-do list, but that can, with intention, return to being an exchange of affection. And we show that small rituals have a huge power to bring together 2 hearts that still love each other, even if they are far apart. Adult love, conscious love, is made up of daily choices. And I know it's not always easy, but if you are here listening to this point, it is because you want to succeed. And that already says a lot. He says you still believe in the 2 of us, and I'm with you on this journey. In truth, This video was made to remind you that there is still time. Time to reconnect, to take care of the relationship, to teach by example, to make home a place of comfort, not only for the children, but also for the couple who created this story. You don't need to have all the answers now, nor do you need to change everything overnight. But yes, you can take a step today. A step of presence, of listening, of affection. A step that says, we matter, because it really matters. And now, I want to hear from you. If this video really spoke to you, comment below. We deserve it. I want to see who will fight for the couple that exists within there, even if they are half forgotten. And look, if you know a couple who needs to hear this, share this video with them. Sometimes a conversation like this can be the beginning of a new chapter. And if you want more videos like this, subscribe to the channel here. I talk about couples truthfully, without flourish, with my feet on the ground, and with an open heart, because loving takes work, but it's so worth it. Let's go together.